Good evening, everyone, as you join us on around the ATL on SportsVisions 92.1 FM. Shout out to those who are listening in on TuneIn app right now. Thank you. This is the third episode, and we appreciate everyone who's shown their support so far. Tonight's show is brought to you by Southern Classic Transportation, comfort and courtesy unrivaled. Now, quick note, there's a lot of people going to New Orleans right now for that Super Bowl, and guess who's taking them? Southern Classic Transportation. So if you're one of those people who needs to get there safely, get there in style, make sure you hit up southernclassiclimo.com and make sure you let them know around the ATL sent you. Also, visit imtnworldwideimages.com. And if you need photos, you need headshots, you need family photos, you need promotional photos, you need to make sure you hit up imtnworldwideimages.com. Let me flash those on the screen real quick again. Southern Classic Transportation right there. And then also IMTN Worldwide Images. There you go right there, .com. Also, if you would like to become a sponsor of Around the ATL, make sure you go to imtnworldwideradio.com. You can also see some of the other sponsors of the show there as well. And if you want to discuss it, hit me up on Instagram, IMTN Worldwide Radio. Quick shout out also to Inner Zone Productions and artist Ram One for that musical intro for Around the ATL. Appreciate that from them. And if you need any music production, make sure you hit me up and I'll get you in touch with them ASAP. Well, let's go ahead and bring in our co-host for the show, Mr. Jordan Jackson. He's in the ATL parts of the world right now. Jordan, how you doing tonight, sir?
What's going on, sir? Doing well. Glad to be on around the ATL on Sports Visions 92.1 FM. As always, a lot to talk about in Atlanta sports today, sir. So with that being said, let's talk about it.
So, needless to say, there's a lot going on over the last couple of weeks in sports. So let's go ahead and get into it, as Jordan mentioned. First and foremost, let's talk Atlanta Vibe. They lost to the Vegas Thrill 3-1 on the road. Leah Edmond, last year's MVP, had 19 points and one ace. They next played the Orlando Valkyries on February 6th. And don't forget, you can watch these games on the Pro Volleyball Federation YouTube page at Real Pro VB. V as in Victor, B as in boy. So make sure you check them out. The Columbus River Dragons, they were beat by the Binghamton Bears 5-1 recently. Not too good. But there was one bright milestone for forward Alexander Jamaith. He scored his 200th point of his career in that particular game. And I know they're going to win their next one. They actually played the Athens Rock Lobsters on February 5th on the road. So go check them out. And they'll be coming back to the Columbus, Georgia area very soon for their next home game soon. So let's go ahead and we got to read the room. We're doing this quick tonight. The Atlanta Falcons. We were bamboozled, lied to, whatever you want to call it. Cousins, Morris, everybody. Now, I said this. Two things can't be both true. Penix drafted 8th but can't play. Kirk was healthy but playing really bad, and we can't bench him per the money. But we know he was benched, and we know Penix can play. And now we get the confirmation from Kirk himself. And then we lost 4 straight games for no reason, basically, except that the head coach could have made a decision and he didn't. Chose not to make a move. And then guess what? Just throw a little bit in there. Myles Garrett asked for a trade, y'all, out of nowhere from the Cleveland Browns. So do the Falcons pull the trigger? Can they pull the trigger? Do we have enough to even make a move in the first place? But we know we need it. He had 14 sacks last season. That's almost as many as our whole Falcons team put together. And he has 102 for his career. And he doesn't need a special system, quote unquote, to make a difference in the game. So, Jordan, with all that being said, what do you think of these new happenings in Falcons world right now?
Well, I'll start real quickly with the Myles Garrett situation. With the fact that the Falcons' Achilles heel has been pass rusher for many, many years. I mean, we haven't had a dominant, consistent pass rusher since John Abraham. You absolutely have to make an offer for Myles Garrett. Now, Cleveland's general manager is saying that he's not going to trade Myles, so it seems like we might be in for a bit of a standoff there. But absolutely, you pick up the phone and make a call. You offer some draft picks. You see, if they'll take a player or two off your team. And, Myles Garrett is such a good player that he's worth restructuring contracts for and everything else to make him fit under your cap because a generational pass rusher like him, a future Hall of Fame pass rusher, just doesn't come available all the time. In regards to Kirk Cousins, I mean, this guy has been doing nothing but getting the Falcons into messes when he opens his mouth in press conferences. And clearly, this was intentional for him to let it out that he was hurt. Now you see the videos come out showing a play which he got hit very hard against New Orleans, and that's when the losing streak started. So I just think this is Kirk Cousins posturing, trying to let other teams know I can still play. I want to, and I deserve to be a starter somewhere next year because it's not going to go like it did at the end of that year. And that's basically a response to the Falcons saying that they're comfortable with him being the backup here next year. But with that being said, so the Falcons could be in trouble. You could see a fine coming. You could even see another draft pick being taken away, possibly because they did not disclose this man on the injury report except for one day after that Saints game, sir.
It's a mess, and like I said, those we should have won the division. We should have been in the playoffs, and maybe even a playoff win. And it was all basically just erased in front of our eyes for no reason at all. So we're going to see what happens in the near future. Moving on, we got to go quick tonight. Atlanta Dream. Before we recorded last week's show, all of a sudden, Brittany Griner is on the Atlanta Dream, guys. 17 points, 7 rebounds, 2 blocks in her career so far. She brings size to the team, which they've never really had. And so with Ryan Howard, Alicia Gray, they finally have a core that actually might be able to compete. We also know they have a coaching change that they made. Carl Smesko, who has 672 coaching victories under his belt out of college, but now he's going to be in the WNBA. Jordan, do you think these things are going to make the ladies of the Atlanta Dream a contender this season?
I absolutely think that it's making them formidable. Brittany Griner, though she's a veteran, she's still a presence in the middle. She's still, like you said, well, you mentioned her career numbers, but she also still averaged close to her career numbers last year: 17.8 points per game, 6.6 rebounds per game, a block and a half per game. Still playing basketball at a high level, still protecting the rim at a high level. She shot 57.9% from the field and 77.7% on the free throws. So still playing very well. I also think the acquisition of Brianna Jones coming over to the Dream as well. She averaged 13.7 points per game and 5.5 boards with Connecticut last year. She's a three-time All-Star, one-time All-Defensive Team player. So with the new coach and with those acquisitions that go along with Ryan Howard and Alicia Gray, I absolutely think the Dream could make some noise this year, sir.
I'm looking forward to just having a fresh season and one that's competitive because we've needed that for a long time with the Dream per their past, right? So, Atlanta United, they brought back Miggy. Didn't think this was really out of the blue. Here, Miguel Almiron is back on the team, at least until 2027. He was actually one of the main reasons that Atlanta United has an MLS Cup currently. So, Jordan, how big do you think this move is for the Atlanta United, plus some of the other moves that they made lately?
I think it's a very big move. Number one, if you just judge off of the fan reaction from the move, you had fans, a contingent of fans, meeting this man at the airport, cheering him on. He's stopping, signing autographs, just feeling the love from the Atlanta United faithful, which is absolutely one of the most rabid fan bases in MLS. And it's to the point where other fans of soccer around the world know who your Atlanta United FC is. So, with that being said, I also think it'll help with getting other guys in here to play because Miggy's always been a guy who sets other players up well and looks to facilitate. In fact, he was the facilitator for the record-setting season of Josef Martinez. So, yes, I think this is absolutely a step in the right direction, as well as having a new coach also. And so I think Atlanta United is going to be looking to make a return to the top of the table this next year, sir.
He definitely helps fill the void of Martinez being gone because he was the catalyst basically for all those seasons. So this is definitely renewal, and it definitely puts the fans in a mode where we've been filling up Mercedes Benz all this time. Give us something to go there for, though, just instead of just being there at a certain point, right? So, with all of that on the professional side, let's get into some high school and college sports for a little bit. Um, let's talk Columbus, Georgia high school sports first. So, Carver Tigers, they destroyed Columbus High 75-27 recently. Spencer beat my Kendrick Cherokee 61 to 39. I don't like that. Shaw beat Columbus 68 to 40. Hardaway loses to Carver 91-24. That's not great. And Jordan loses to Columbus 68-47. And for the ladies, Jordan loses to Sumter County on the road 69-25. Spencer showed no mercy to Kendrick again, 87 to 10. I don't even know how that happened. Sumter County beats Shaw 65-35, and Hardaway beats Carver 69-39. UGA Bulldogs didn't play well against Alabama Crimson Tide. They lost 90 to 69. They're 15 and 7 overall in the SEC, however. Georgia Tech beat Louisville 77 to 70, but they're 10 and 12 overall in the ACC currently. And Georgia State, they lost to Appalachia State in a close one, 80 to 76, and they're 8 and 15 overall, so they're having a really bad year actually. Jordan, any scores that you got for us on the HBCU side of the fence, sir?
Yes, I do. First of all, I just want to give a shout out to school system I attended a long time in high school. Lee County High School beat Northside 65 to 29, and the school I graduated from, Doherty, beat Spalding 59 to 52. With that being said, in the HBCU arena, we've had some interesting matchups here lately. Albany State defeated Fort Valley State 73 to 52 in the big rivalry. Also, most recently, yesterday, Albany State defeated Tuskegee. Oh, actually, I'm sorry, Fort Valley State defeated Tuskegee 66 to 65. Also, you had um, Morehouse. You had Morehouse 75, Clark Atlanta 71, which is a key Atlanta area score. And you also had Savannah State losing to Morehouse as well recently. Morehouse beat them 65 to 59.
So, as we get ready to transition to our next segment, we're going to take a very, very quick pause. We're going to see if we can make this work. So, first of all,
you are listening to Around the ATL with Chris and Jordan. We'll be right back with more Atlanta sports talk.
Yeah. Around the ATL. To the top is where I'm going. Around the ATL. Watch me take off just like a rocket. ATL. Taking off with the heat. Yeah, I'm keeping it street. Ride the bike like a beat. Bet you can't do it like me. Every time I give you fire, yeah, you know that it's flame. Yeah, they call me C. Ross. Man, I'm ahead of the game. Monkey head of my prime. Yeah, I'm ahead of my time.
and we are back on SportsVisions 92.1 FM. This is Around the ATL with Chris and Jordan. How are y'all doing tonight? So let's talk Atlanta Hawks basketball. And we have a lot of stuff that's happened, obviously, in the last really 24, 48 hours in the last week. A lot of stuff has happened. But first and foremost, let me just say this. Luka was traded first, okay? Just wanted to get that out there. Now, before we talk about that in general, I want to talk about that Pacers game that just happened, right? And the fact that Trae Young had 68 points that he produced, 34 points, 17 assists, had 13 points in the fourth quarter, 3 assists in the fourth quarter. He is fourth in the NBA in 64 passes a game. He's first in clutch points, first in points created by assists at 28 a game, first in potential assists at 21 a game, and leads the league in both total assists and assists per game. Yet, we're having a problem building a roster around Trae Young. Since 2018, Trae has been no less than 6th in potential assists a game and was first both last year and this year. Trae is shooting 45% on shots that either tie a game or took the lead in the game, 19 for 42. And I got that from Mr. Rashad Phillips, a.k.a. Yoda, today on Twitter. That's almost 50%, guys. He's one of the most clutch players in NBA history. But the Hawks, again, refuse to bring in consistent shooters or a big that can score. The Hawks have never had it, right? Trae is a career 25-10 player, and despite this, which no other guard in the NBA can say, by the way, he can't get into the All-Star game for some reason. He's one of two players in the NBA to lead the league in both points and assists, and the only one in history to do it both in the NBA and college. He's third all time in 30-point, 10 assist games, only with James Harden and LeBron James ahead of him. Trae is pacing to be top 10 in both scoring and assists in NBA history. Yet again, Trae Young can't get any respect whatsoever. Trae Young just had another game-winning shot against the Detroit Pistons, walking all over people, right? And we needed a lot to win that game, Trae and the rest of the guys. And Trae is still passing the ball each game, as I mentioned, 64 times a game. So, again, is Tony Ressler, as the owner of the Hawks, really trying to win a championship in Atlanta, Jordan? Tell me your thoughts in regards to the Luka trade, Trae's continued disrespect in the NBA, sir.
The Luka trade was absolutely shocking. And it really has given a lot of credence to the conspiracy theorists that think that the league will go out of their way to help the big market teams continue to stay relevant. Because it's just amazing. I mean, my entire life, you've gone from Magic and Kareem to Kobe and Shaq to Kobe again with Paul Gasol and those guys, then LeBron James, and now Luka is the next great Lakers star. I just think it's a shame that a GM would do a disservice to his franchise by not letting the whole league bid on a guy like that if you're going to put him on the trade market. Let the whole league bid and take the best offer for your team. Otherwise, what are you doing? You're not trying to make your team as good as possible. So that's my thoughts on the Luka trade, sir.
And when you let me just say this about Trae Young, and he hit that shot.
It's a dagger in their heart.
Thank you, Dominique, for that. And you see that, and everybody in the league is, of course, online, social media, and everything, and they're seeing this, and now it's stuff like this that puts it in the forefront to say, why isn't Trae on the All-Star team again? And they see this for themselves, and it's like, well, what's really going on? And it just makes it more blatant and more blatant and more blatant that it's personal somehow. And how is that really possible? It doesn't really make sense. And then, again, for the fact that Luka was traded before Trae Young is on his, there's only two people from 2018 that still are on their original teams. The other one is Triple J in Memphis, right? So just that right there just says, okay, well, maybe it is not Trae, for the people who hate Trae Young, obviously, right? Because Luka was the one who got traded first. For all the different reasons, speculation, whatever they are, he's not a Dallas Maverick anymore is the point, right? So, again, the other part of this is, how come the Hawks won't build around Trae? It's like, watch this, listen.
Boom, baby.
Are we about to get Bobo instead of actually getting a bona fide center that could actually score in the post, hit all the jump shots, the elbow jumpers, the ones from the free throw line? You got centers. I just posted it again on Twitter. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. I just posted just a minute ago on Twitter. Here's what the guys are doing tonight at the center position, everybody. I'm going to just read these off to you. And some of these games are not even over yet, okay? They are not finished. Let me see if I can post this up. Give me a second here as I do this, because I just posted this, so this is fresh, okay? Joel Embiid, 29, 10, 11, triple-double. Cat, 27 and 21. Allen, 17 and 19. Porzingis, 19 and 7. Sagoon, 25 and 19. Ware, 17 and 12. Why can't the Hawks have that? Because if we did, guess what? Trae Young wouldn't have 21 potential assists a game. He would have actually 21 assists a game. That's what that means. And if we don't do that, how can the ownership and the general manager tell Hawks fans who keep emailing us to get season tickets, right, Jordan? And to spend money, and they don't say anything about winning. I talked about that earlier on the live. They emailed me today talking about they want me to buy some tickets. And they say all these things except winning. Is winning important or not? And that really upset me earlier just to see that email, knowing what we've seen over the last couple of years and even this year, that it doesn't look like they're trying to be competitive.
Yeah, it certainly doesn't look like they're trying to be competitive. And when you look at the Los Angeles Lakers, in my lifetime, they probably had 22 superstars, and the Hawks have only had two, Dominique Wilkins and Trae. And it's like we're repeating the same mistakes of the Dominique Wilkins era by just not having enough around our star and not giving them a chance to go to battle against these teams he's facing that has two or three all-star type players or two all-NBA players and an all-defensive player and that type of deal. And so, you're seeing all this movement around the league, and you want the Hawks to get involved and do something. Now, I have heard some names out there. I've heard Paul George's name today. I've heard Brandon Ingram's name for about a week now. So we'll see, if the Hawks are able to get anything done. I'm not hearing Vucevic, who would help big time at the center position. I haven't heard really anything about DeAndre Ayton, who, he has his issues, but he's still a very talented player, former number 1 overall pick, and he, would definitely thrive playing with the best passer in the game in Trae Young. And so while I do think that this particular team this year was better suited for Trae than some of the more recent renditions when everybody was healthy, unfortunately, the everybody healthy thing has gone by the wayside. Jalen Johnson is out for the season, who's our second best player. And we just don't have enough depth. And I just think ultimately we need to change out a few more pieces from the previous regime's team and move forward with, just a new alliteration. So I'm hoping, we got, till Thursday at, I forget, 4 p.m. Eastern time or something of that nature, till the trade deadline. I'm just hoping and hoping and hoping that the Atlanta Hawks are able to get something done, sir.
Well, the 5 things that makes your team a winner: your owner wants to win and does everything necessary to win. You have a general manager that makes wise decisions over a long period of time. You have a good to great coach. You have good to great players, and you're healthy. Health has destroyed this team over the last 6 seasons. It's prevented us from doing a lot of things. But then also, you got to look at it from the standpoint of personnel, and that's where management comes in. And we've had chances to do it, and we just did not do it. And that's where the competitive spark comes in, because I said this team should be a 6th seed this year, and maybe even higher. But that was precedent on everybody being healthy and everybody doing their job, right? Being consistent. And as you mentioned, they don't have to be necessarily an all-star, right? There's all NBA, there's all-stars, and then you're very good and consistent. And we can't even get really good and consistent sometimes. And that's upsetting when you have Trae Young on the team and you have our rookie doing what he can do. He's been playing very well lately, right? But it all has to happen at the same time. And then for games again and again and again and again, not just once every couple of weeks. You had Hunter the other day have 4 points in that Pacers game. We lost that game by 5. If Hunter gets his average, we blow that team out, right? But he had 4 points in that game in 29 minutes. So it's just games like that should not have been lost, and we lost them just because we don't have the depth or we don't have people performing on a regular basis. But yet you have Trae Young out there doing everything in his power to try to help the team win each game. And he sees all his compatriots, sort of speak, on these other teams continue to get people. Remember, we're talking about that Luka trade. Luka had Brunson, Porzingis, Kyrie, Clay, right? Gafford, he had PJ. They got all these guys for him, and he has 2 conference championship appearances, and he's won one. Trae in his 3rd season got to the Eastern Conference Finals. We were 2 wins away from the finals, and the very next season, the Atlanta Hawks organization did nothing to follow that up. And at that point, it's like, well, what are we even doing then? Damian Lillard stayed in Portland for 12 seasons, and they did nothing to help him win a championship over there. I don't want to see that happen with Trae Young here in Atlanta.
Well, on a positive note, sir, you kind of stole my thunder with a quick mention of Zachary Ricochet. He has been outstanding here in his last 3 games. He scored a total of 64 points with 0 turnovers in his last 3 games. He's averaged 21.3 points per game, 3 rebounds, 1.7 assists, 1 steal. As I mentioned, 0 turnovers, 65% from the field, and 59% from three-point range. So that's a very encouraging sign. Now, you also mentioned DeAndre Hunter. He had a rare game in that win over Detroit. He had 20 points, 0 rebounds, 0 assists, 0 steals, 0 blocks, 4 fouls. So all he had was points and fouls. He did nothing else in the stat sheet whatsoever. So, like I said, that was a very interesting game. And as he mentioned, he just recently had a 4-point game. And I have heard his name come up in trade rumors. I've heard the Cleveland Cavaliers have called the Atlanta Hawks about DeAndre Hunter. So we'll see, if anything happens to that. I don't know what Cleveland has that we could want, but, there's always a chance to get some kind of 3-team deal together as well. And to be honest with you, sir, if we get a good return, I'm all for selling high on DeAndre Hunter. I'm afraid that just like the story Cinderella, the clock is going to strike midnight. He's going to turn back into a pumpkin. You know what I mean? And we've already seen some signs over here recently. So it could definitely happen. Or even worse, get hurt, which he does have quite an extensive injury history as well, sir.
Well, as we wrap things up, it's disappointing that we are where we are, but hopefully maybe that Detroit win will be a spark and maybe we can get back on it and after the All-Star break, make a push. So again, everyone, we had fun again on our third episode here on SportsVisions 92.1 FM. If you please share it with other people, whether or not they're in Atlanta, Columbus, Texas, Australia, London. Remember to add the TuneIn page. You can listen anywhere in the world on the TuneIn page for SportsVisions 92.1 FM. And make sure you can go to imtnworldwideradio.com to keep up with future shows. And of course, subscribe to the IMTN Worldwide Radio YouTube page because you can actually watch the live stream as well. Follow myself and Jordan on Twitter, Intellect ATL. How come that's not working right now? That's funny. And you can also, before I get off of here, make sure you Southern Classic Transportation. Again, they are our sponsors currently, our main sponsors, and they do great work when they're taking you from point A to point B and getting you safe and getting you sound. And make sure you contact IMTN Worldwide Images, which is our other sponsor. If you need photos of any kind, make sure you get with them. Make sure you let them know Around the ATL sent you on both because they got specials for this month of February. Jordan, any last words, sir?
Yes, please contact Southern Classic Transportation if you're going to be at the Super Bowl events this weekend. They will be there. They will have trucks, driving people to all the events. You can make sure you stay safe. You can make sure, you don't get any DUIs or anything of that nature that could get you in big trouble. Southern Classic Transportation will show you a new standard in service. I want to thank everybody for listening to us here on Around the ATL Sports Visions 92.1 FM. We're very thankful for our listeners as always. And last but not least, I want to thank God for giving me this breath that I breathe to talk about these Atlanta and these Georgia sports that I love. Peace up. A-Town down.
Don't forget to tune in every Thursday, 7 p.m. on SportsVisions 92.1 FM.
Shout out to my mom who's going through some cancer stuff. Love you, Mom. Get well soon.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. In Columbus, Georgia, on the TuneIn app. And make sure you watch the live stream on IMTN Worldwide Radio on the YouTube page. Until next week, always be watching, always be listening Around the ATL.
Dribble, pass, throw, catch, hit, slide, grab, respect.